Hi everyone. This is the first tutorial. This is a tutorial to get you started with the first assignment. So I have a Rhino open. I'm going to double click on this perspective tab over here to maximize the view. First things I'm going to check is the units of the Rhino that you are modeling in. So over here it says millimeters, but we want to be modeling things in inches. So I'm going to right click over here where it says millimeters, left click on where it says unit settings. That will bring up this document properties over here. And from the under units tab, so over here, if you click over here and click on model, let's change this model units to inches over here. And that should be good to go. And I'm gonna click OK. Okay. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to deconstruct the digital file from the two-dimensional drawings. So I'm using this Marcel Bauer's snow house, which you might be familiar with. For this building, I have 2 floors. So if I left click on this JPEG and drag into modeling space over here, and if I left click this Rhino modeling space again, this image options should show up. And let's select the where it says pictures and click OK. Now it's asking for the first corner of the pictures. I'm going to just type 0, and that will bring that point to the sort of 000 point in the Rhino modeling space, and then hit enter. And I am going to kind of just drag this out over here. And now you can see the picture over here. The other way to import the pictures is type picture and hit enter. And that will bring the this window. Navigate to the folder you have your floor plan saved, and that should be somewhere permanent locations. Since you're linking this JPEG file to your Rhino models, don't use the file, for example, somewhere in downloads that you might delete after sometime. So I'm going to left click on the upper floor plan over here. I'm going to just do the same things, left click somewhere over here, and left click over here. So now I have 2 floor plans over imported. I'm going to go into top tab over here, left click. And if you look at these floor plans, it tells you about the measurements. So this is this particular drawing is in feet. The way you can tell is because it's 73-0. When it says that, it's almost always it's a feet. So now what I would do is I'm going to put this on a layer first. Putting things on the appropriate layer is going to be super important in this assignment. So I'm going to click on this layers over here. If you don't have this, for example, let's just say I'm going to close this. Let's just say that you don't have it over here. What you can do is type in properties up here on the command, hit enter, and that should pop. This property window pops up. If you don't have this layer tab for some mysterious reason over here, so I'm going to delete that. What you can do is bring this up, make this property tab view window, property window a little bit bigger. Right click on the sort of next to the last icon over here, right click. And that should bring out the this pop-up windows over here, and you just have to click on where it says layers over here, and that will bring the layer tab back. And then once you have this, you just have to left click on this over here in this region, drag it onto the right, and then that will make you dark what's in the liner modeling space. Anyways, so I'm gonna hit over here to create the new layers. I'm just gonna say floor joints. I'm gonna change the color by double clicking on this. I'm gonna change the red color over here. Hit OK, and I'm gonna select both of them over here. Right click drawings layer, and left click change object layer over here. Okay, now we have to scale these drawings. First things we have to make sure is some of these lines are straight. What I mean by that is if I hit line over here and click on this corner, I'm gonna make sure this grid snap is unchecked, and I'm gonna make sure this project is checked over here. Left click on this location. I'm gonna press shift over here and draw a straight line. So now that you can kind of see this dash line over here is kind of off, which means that drawing itself is a little bit off. So what we will do is I'm going to type rotate, hit enter, left click over here, and left click over here, and rotate the base image lower floor plan to sort of to make it straight. I'm gonna do the same thing. So over here, I'm gonna bring this line to this corner, and I'm gonna select this image, type rotate, enter, left click over here, left click the other corner of the building, and then rotate them. So now let's just say they are somewhat straight-ish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this dimensions over here where it says 24 feet. I'm going to type scale. Scale. And it's asking for select the object to scale. This is the object that I want to scale. Now it's asking for press enter, so I'm going to hit enter. And now it's asking for the base point. So I'm going to click on this base point over here. And I'm going to press shift. So press shift to draw a straight line over here. And then click on this point over here. And this distance should be 24 feet. And now it's asking for second reference point. Now I'm going to type in 24 feet. Enter. All right. Oh, by the way, if you select object and click on one of these squares, you can kind of like move things around. Now, the distance from here, this point to that point, should be 24 feet. So I'm going to type distance to make sure that's what's happening. It's asking for first point for distance, but it's also asking for the units model units. If I just click on this point over here and press shift to get the straight line, and then press click somewhere over here, that gives us this distance in inches. But I want to know this distance in feet. Not that I can divide by 12, but I think it'll be easier. So I'm going to type distance again. I'm going to left click this model units again over here. And I'm going to type left click where it says feet, inches. And now I'm going to click define the first point for distance. So over here, this is the first one. Press shift and then click this option over here. Now it's 24 inches, 24 feet. So now that we know this is in scale.
So now, once I have this in the right scale, what I'm going to do is draw a line over here, and click over here and press Shift to create draw a straight line. And I'm going to select this line, type move, enter. And from this point, I'm going to move this line to this point over here. And now I'm going to type duplicate, copy this line. So type copy. It's asking for point to copy. Left click that. And I'm going to left click over here. So now I'm going to scale this floor plan based on these two lines over here. So I'm going to move this floor plan, move, select this point over here, move it to one of the lines on this line over here, type scale, same workflow from identify the base point, press shift, make sure you're press shift and holding the shift, and click on the opposite side of the floor plan, and then scale that up and click somewhere on this line over here. So now these two are in same scale, and I'm going to delete this floor plan over here. So now, because this is the dash line is indicating the overhang of this house, which is this line over here. This floor plan and this floor plan, they are in the same scale over here. Now I'm going to repeat this process for other elevations that I have. So I'm going to type picture, enter, and choose the elevation drawings over here, open. And just going to insert in here and make sure the sort of direction is right. I'm going to make sure I'm going to check this drawing is in the I probably have to rotate this. So same process as floor plan. You just have to straight rotate your JPEG image first to make sure all the lines are straight, and then scale them. So this is the east elevation, which is the elevation for over here. So I'm going to rotate this. Actually, I'm going to click on this blue line over here, type 180, and that will rotate this drawings by 180. And I am going to I'm going to move this floor plan over here, and I'm going to move this floor plan over here. So this line of the exterior wall should line up with this line over here. So I'm going to repeat the similar process from earlier. Draw a straight line by pressing Shift. Copy that line from that corner to the other side of the corner, and I'm going to move this elevation on top of this line here and type scale, and click on this corner and click on the other side of the corner, and then scale that down to this line over here. So now this is actually, this elevation should be in the same scale as the floor plan over here. what I'm going to do, so I'm going to repeat, I'm gonna keep doing that for the other three sides of the elevations. And I think I'm just gonna skip this part, but that's what we have to do. Now I have these elevations laid out and scaled based on the floor plans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into perspective over here. And I'm going to select one of them. And I'm going to rotate this by minus 90 degrees here. So this is matching up with the elevation over here. And I'm going to rotate this by 90 degrees. And I'm going to rotate this by another minus 90. And I'm going to rotate this as well. Oops. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. So this will give us the sort of surrounding box of drawings. What we will do is I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put these elevation drawings onto another layer for the moment. So elevations, and I'm going to left click and drag it on top of the drawings. So there's another layers to this. So now I'm going to select all the elevation drawings and right click on this elevation layer. Click on change object layer over here, and I'm gonna switch that off for now. Now what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that this elevation is at the level of this base grid over here. So what I'm going to do is type move, click one of the corners over here and type 0. And that will make sure this flat drawings is on the same level, same elevational level as this grid over here. Now I'm going to create another layer called lines, very original, and I'm gonna change the color of the layer to cyan color over here. Okay, and I'm gonna go into I'm gonna make this line layer for current by left clicking this layer, and I'm gonna click on the top view, and I'm gonna start I'm going to start taking the shapes of them. I'm going to start drawing these floor plans. So by just looking at this, the wherever it's have the poche or hatch, that is the solid wall. Wherever there isn't, those are probably indication of the windows. So that's how we are going to redraw this floor plan. And we want to have the lines for the exterior walls. So I'm gonna say this line for exterior wall, and I'm just going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to say this is for the interior wall. It doesn't really matter at the moment, but layer management is going to be pretty important in this series of the work. So now I'm going to, so one thing we haven't really talked about is that thickness difference between the exterior walls and interior walls. So in general conventions at the schematic design phase, which is like the beginning of the design phase in architectural and design context, what we do is we usually just assume the thickness of the exterior wall to be 12 inches over here. So we will assume this 12 inches and then interior walls to be 6 inches. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw the rectangle. So you can use the couple different tools. Rectangle is the one tool. So I'm going to click on this corner over here, and then click on the other corner over here. And I'm going to type offset. And I'm going to left click where it says distance, and I'm going to type 12 for 12 inches. Enter. And I'm going to select this wall and then click outside of this line to offset this line. So now the distance between this line and then this line, and actually I'm going to lock these drawings so that I don't select them by mistake. So now the difference between this line and that line is 12 inches. So now we have the exterior walls over here. Now I'm going to start building the interior walls. So I'm just going to change that to current layer to the interior wall over here. And I'm going to start drawing the lines. I'm going to start with over here with this straight lines over here. I'm probably gonna move it to the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this line by the thickness of the interior walls. Interior walls, it used to be conventionally, we used to say that exterior wall is 12 inches and the interior wall is 6 inches. Like I said before. But now we want it to be a little bit more articulate. And what happens in interior construction of the interior wall is super simple. You just have 2x4 inch studs, and then you would have the drywall on the both sides of it. So that will be, let me see if I can find image of that. I just Googled interior wall construction, and this is the image that I got. But to give you an idea, I know you probably might notice, so the interior wall construction is always like this. This is let's just say this is a 2x4 inch studs over here, 2x4 lumber. And the dimension of this 2x4 studs are 1.5 inches this way, and 3.5 inches this way. Even though it's called 2x4, it's not 2 inches by 4 inches. It's actually 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And then we have the drywall on the both side of it. This drywall comes in two thickness. It comes in 0.5 inches, or it comes in 5/8 inches. We architects and designers always specify for 5/8 inches, but then contractor they just change it to 0.5 inches. So if you calculate that, let's just say 5/8 inch plus 3.5 inches for the studs wall, 2x4 stud, and 5.8 inches drywall on the other side. That becomes 4.75 inches. So that's what we are going to use for the thickness of the wall. Let's just say. So whenever I have this, whenever I'm going to offset the line for the interior walls, instead of 6 inches, which was conventional thickness for the interior wall at the schematic design level, we are going to use 4.75 inches. And we're going to keep continue doing that. There are two different kind of line tools that we can use. One is polyline, which is you can draw lines, and these are connected lines, as you can see over here, or you can just draw a line, bunch of the lines over here. over here, over here, but these are individual lines, and you would have to join them if you want that to be, if that's what you wanted. When you have the lines over here, you could when you have the lines over here, and let's just say you wanted to extend somehow, you could grab this square over here and drag it to extend your lines. Or you could also, if you select them, these points shows up at the end. You could select one of the points, and you can, in that way, you can manipulate your lines as well. Make the line shorter or longer. In this case, so for example, if I wanted to, let's just say these are the lines over here, and if I wanted to extend these lines to this line over here, you can also use the command extend, enter, select this line as the boundary object, enter, and then select those lines to extend these lines to up to this boundary line over here, enter. And I'm gonna skip this. So I'm gonna use these really basic commands to create the interior walls. And I think I'm just going to skip this portion where I'm actually making these lines. Once you have these lines sort of placed at the location that you wanted, the other commands that you can do is trim. And I'm going to just select generally this lines in this area, and then I'm going to kind of just hit enter, and I'm going to trim these lines so that I can have cleaner wall here. And when we are making redrawing some of these lines, it's common that some of these lines doesn't match up with the drawing that you have. So I'm not too worried about that. For example, over here, it's really not, thickness of the wall is not really matching with the drawings, but that's okay. So let's just say those dimensions are not available on your drawings. When that happens, the best bet for us to do is to use the entrance door for the widths to scale the drawings. Usually that's about 3 feet. So that's what we are going to do. So in this case, let's just say we don't have any of these dimensions over here. So I'm just going to scale this from this point to the other side of the door. And I'm just gonna say that's 3 feet. And that should be somewhat close to the dimensions. Anyways, that's how I would go about it if there were no actual dimensions available in your drawings. Okay, so now I have the basic walls redrawn. So I have the exterior walls, and I also have the interior walls. I'm gonna turn off the exterior wall layers to just kind of see. I'm just gonna delete this. So to have a clean models, I would have to close those open curves. So I'm gonna go into these open curves, make sure close them. And again, it's super important to have this project checked when we are doing something like this, so that your lines are not sort of like on the different levels. Okay, so I'm gonna select all this line type join, and make sure this is closed curve. This is a closed curve, so that's good. And I can just do that. I can just select everything and just type join, and it'll create the closed curves. I just have to kind of make sure that every single one of them is actually closed curve. Sometimes what happens is I'm going to explode this, and then I'm going to kind of make a gap over here. So sometimes what happens is like when there is a small gap, sometimes like it's really hard to see when there is a gap. And then type join. This stays as an open curve, and then you can tell if it's a closed curve or open curve by clicking in onto this tab over here for properties, and it always tells you if this is an open curve or closed curve over here at the type. If this is an open curve, and if you can see it, you can just bring this points to over here and then close it. That makes it closed curve. Or you can select the object type closed CLB for the curve, enter, and that will close the loop of the curve. One of the two. So I'm gonna bring back the exterior walls, and for now I'm going to I'm gonna switch the layer to exterior walls, and I'm going into extrude curve. So extrude curve, and I'm gonna just put it as 8 feet at the moment. So I'm gonna change the view type to shaded so we can see it. And I noticed that that extruded curve is it didn't close, but rather these are two surfaces, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to Control Z this. I'm gonna select the exterior wall again and type extrude curve CLB. And I'm gonna left click where it says solid and change it to solid equals yes. And then I'm gonna type 8 feet again for the height of the walls. And now this is a closed solid mass, and that's what I want. And I'm going to change the layer to interior walls and turn off the exterior walls over here. And I'm going to extrude the interior wall to 8 feet as well, and making sure that these are solid. Okay, so that is good. And now this is where I'm going to bring back the elevations over here. So I just drew this line so that I can get the middle point, center point of this elevation. But they are on the different planes, so I have to do the set PT command. Only this time, it's asking for the select object to transform, hit enter. Only this time, I have to set it in the Y directions, so not in the X directions. If I were to do it in the X directions, this just gets squished and becomes nothing. So I'm gonna try that, hit OK. And everything just kind of like becomes a line. But if I change that to set Y direction and I hit OK, that becomes the curve over here. And then the joints over here, they are on the same plane. Okay. Okay. So now I have the all side of the elevations kind of set. I'm going to use this elevation to figure out the actual height of the walls. So I need to move this wall up to this point and move this wall up to that point. So to do that, I'm just gonna select this exterior wall, this elevations, and that elevations, type isolate. So now to do this, I think the easiest way is to type scale 1D, scale 1D, and hit enter, and select this object. And now when it's asked for base point, I'm gonna select this base point over here, and select the top of the wall, and just bring it up, kind of like this. And then I am going to on the right, I'm gonna press project, check the project over here. I'm gonna draw a line over here. And I'm just gonna draw a line over here, like this. And then wherever the line went, over here. So I'm going to use this line to cut this geometry in the angle. So extrude curve, and then this is going extruding upwards. So I want to change the direction of it. So I'm gonna left click direction, and I'm going to select this corner, and then press shift and select that way, so that it's going to extrude in this directions. Once you have that, you can type Boolean difference, and select surface or polysurface to subtract from, which is this geometry. And then now it's asking for and hit enter. And now it's asking for select surface or polysurface to subtract with, which is this surface, and I hit enter, and that should cut the geometry. But what we wanted was, like, we wanted to have the bottom piece, keep the bottom piece, and delete the top piece. So I'm going to Control Z. This happens based on the direction of the surface. So I just have to flip this surface. To see the direction of this surface, I guess I would start from that. Type dir and select the object, enter. And now you can tell that this surface is facing this way. So if I type flip, enter, and select this surface, enter. And I'm gonna check again with the dir direction, select this object, enter. Now this face is looking downwards, and that's what I want. And I'm going to type Boolean difference again. Select this geometries, and that should cut the geometry in the way I want. So that looks good. And I'm going to, so since I'm here, I'm gonna go create the roof structure as well. So and that should look somewhat like this. I'm going to select this and select that. I'm gonna lock the joints, select the curve, curve over here. So select the curve, and I'm going to scale, scale 1D, nope, scale 1D, and I'm gonna use the kind of middle point as a starting point, and then select the edge, and then sort of bring it up like this. And it looks like, let's just say this is the end of the roof over here, and let's just say the roof just extend till just out over here. Because the wall is thicker, the roof has to extend a little bit extra, and that's okay, I think. Now going to the perspective, search for those lines. Turning off the, I'm going to just trim this line over here. And I'm going to the right, bring back this joints. I'm going to copy this line again, um, over here to somewhat like over here. And then that should do the trick. Now we have the outline for the loop. Trim these edges. Now I'm gonna select all of this, type join to create the closed curve. So just looking at this floor plan, it doesn't look like there is any overhang on this side. Or actually looking at this elevation, yep, there's no overhang on this side or that side, as you can see over here in the elevation. So I'm going to take this, go to the top, move this to, and make sure you have the project on. And I'm gonna move this to overlap with the exterior wall lines. And I'm going to type extrude. I'm gonna go into perspective, and I'm going to type extrude curve and bring it out till up here, and we have a basic roof for that. The next step is so I'm gonna do the I'm gonna repeat the same step for the lower floor over here, and I'm just going to bring this out here, and like how I did before, I'm going to lock this layer over here and create exterior wall over here. This situation is a little bit different from the other interior walls, because this is thicker walls. This is actually a fireplace. This is how you would represent a fireplace. Fireplace is traditionally, it has a thicker walls because you would build it not with the 2x4 studs, but you would build it with the concrete masonry units or the block walls. So it's always thicker. So that means for us is we want to have this separate. So this should be a one wall here, and this should be a one wall here. The problem is this is a one single line. So I'm going to use a split command and select this line and then hit enter. And now it's asking for the cutting object. So I'm gonna select this line over here, curve over here, and enter. So now this is the line is split into two lines. So I'm gonna choose this, type join, and now this is a one closed curve. And so I'm going to add a line over here, and I'm going to type join, and this is one closed curve. And now that I'm gonna go into over here, and I'm gonna type extrude curve, enter, and I'm gonna type 8 feet towards this way, and hit enter. I'm gonna bring the exterior wall and do the same as well. So extrude curve 8. Oops, I have to change the layer, and extrude curve 8 feet towards that way. So let's see what this means in terms of elevations. So I'm gonna show this elevations over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the top, select the object that I created. I'm going to go into the top view, and I am going to go into okay. I'm going to bring this. I just selected the whole things, including the drawings, and I'm gonna line this up in this way. So I'm gonna draw a line, and I'm gonna make sure this project is checked. I'm gonna draw a middle point from the interior face of this. All right, I probably have to draw a line over here till here, and using this middle point, which is here, and that should matches up with the middle points of this line over here. So that would work. So I'm going to do the same things. So I'm going to draw a line from here to there, and then use the middle point, which is over here. To relocate this middle structure, so to speak. Where's that middle point? Bring that straight to this over here. And I'm gonna go into the perspective to just make sure everything's sort of lining up. What I probably should do is I'm gonna switch off the elevation. And because this lower floor plan and upper floor plan is overlaid at the moment, I think this is the lower floor plan. Yep. So I'm going to move this lower floor plan at the end of the lower floor geometry. To do that, I'm going to type move and I'm going to click vertical and then select this corner point. I'm going to uncheck this project and select this corner point. And this way you can only move this drawings up and down in the z-axis. So I'm just going to align that to the bottom of this, the lower floors. And then I think that should do that trick. So that gives us the basic upper massing and the lower massing. And we have to also create the floors. So I'm going to go into one of the elevations, isolate, and I'm going to go into the front, right. Okay, so now that this is saying that, okay, if I see this in perspective, so this line is the finished floor. So this dashed line is the top surface of the finished floors over here. So I'm going to assume the floor thickness is from here to there. So that's what I'm going to do. Going to the right, front. And I'm going to create the rectangle. Probably drawing this line over here. I'm gonna make that kind of so, and I'm going to, and I'm gonna bring all the other geometry back, and I'm going to select this curve, and I'm going to type extrude curve over here, and then change the directions from this point. Press shift and to that point, and create this surface. Now I'm gonna select this surface and type extrude surface, enter. I'm gonna make sure it says solid, and I'm gonna switch off the drawings because it's a little bit hard to see. I'm gonna go into this bottom of the exterior wall over here. So now I have extrusion, which is the surface that I created. I'm gonna delete that. And now I have this poly surface over here. What I'm going to do is only things I need is really this portion within the exterior wall. So I'm going to use Boolean difference command to do that. So I'm going to select this surface to subtract from, hit enter. And I'm going to select this surface to subtract with, and hit enter. Now I'm going to delete this, and there is this floor for this upper floor. I'm just going to duplicate this by pressing Alt, and then press Alt and hold, and then click one of these arrows to duplicate the object. I'm going to type move, click on the vertical, and I'm going to select the this portion over here, and then select that. And I'm gonna do Boolean difference again, and select this surface, and select this surface as a cut surface, and I'm gonna delete that. And now I have this floor plan, so to speak. I just want to make sure that's the right location for this in elevation, which is, let's see. Yeah. So in here you can see the height of the finished floor in this elevation, in both elevations actually. So what I'm gonna do is select this elevation drawing, and then type isolate. So now you can see just one drawings, and I'm gonna type show selected, and I'm going to click on this the bottom floor surface, hit enter. So that will bring out only the this surface, this geometry. Everything else is still hidden. And I'm gonna go into front view to make sure that finished surface is where it should be. It looks like it's pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna move this up a little bit. So move vertical. I'm gonna make sure this project is on as well, and then go into click that, and I'm gonna move up, move vertical point. Somehow it's really not moving. So I'm just gonna do move over here. Oh, because I'm in the front view. Okay, so now that looks decent, I think. But it's also, we can see these dashed lines are a representation of the concrete structures, the foundation structures, for example. So we could technically extend this to lower. Maybe we'll do that. Scale 1D. Over here to there. And I'm going to type show selected again and bring back I'm going to switch off these elevations, and I'm going to bring back this exterior walls. Yeah, and I think that's probably okay, because there's a little bit of overlaps, which is what it would happen. Okay, so now type show to see everything. So this is the basic massing of this project. The other things we have to take care of is the openings, obviously, the windows and whatnot. So I'm gonna work on that. So I'm gonna bring this elevation out a little bit. what I'm going to do is go into the, I'm going to isolate this and front view, just say, and make sure that project is on. And I'm going to draw a rectangle over here from this point to this point. And I'm gonna do the same for from this point to actually, to do this, I would have to bring out the floor plate, so show selected. I'm gonna take this out so that I know the location of this top surface when I'm drawing the openings for this the window slash sliding door, or a window and a door over here. So I'm gonna go into the front here, rectangle from this point to this point. Yep. Okay. And I would have to do the same for the lower floors. So this over here. Okay, I think that's what I have for this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this out to over here, and I will do extrude curve, bring it out this way, so that I can use these geometry to Boolean difference from the exterior walls that we have. So to do that, show selected, I'm gonna take this and this, both exterior walls, and then I'm gonna bring this so that it overlaps. It's super important. It needs to be overlapped. It needs to be punched through by the cutting object. So if these were like somewhere over here, this wouldn't work. So we have to make sure this kind of like all the way in. And I'm gonna type Boolean difference, Boolean difference. So this is the first object to subtract from, enter. And I'm gonna choose these two, enter. And I'm gonna delete these two, and that would create the openings over here. I'm gonna do the same things for this exterior walls as well. So Boolean difference, hit select this object, enter, select the subtracting object, enter, and delete this, and that would make this openings. So we would have to do this for all the other 3 sides as well, and I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna probably just skip that portions. Okay, so I punched open all the windows for all the sides of the buildings. I also adjusted the roof shape. While I was looking at the drawings, I realized that in this elevation, the roof line is jogged over here, which indicating that this portion of the roof is coming out. And that is sort of confirmed with this side elevations as well. So like there's a straight line over here, which indicating straight line over here. And then this portion is what we see in the elevation over here. Also over here, there is a canopy on this side, which is this. So I took this shape over here and extruded based on the steps of the deck over here. But as you can see in the shadow over here, there is a shadow kind of doing this, which means there is an opening in the surface of this canopy, which is also collaborated on this dash line of the floor plan. As if you remember, dash line with the X means there is something above or openings above. So that's what I have over here.